All right, let's just jump right in. What if getting rich? What if it wasn't about luck, or even just grinding away with hard work? Today, we're going to dive into this book called Happy Pocket Full of Money, and it makes a pretty bold claim that creating wealth is an exact science, just like algebra. The whole idea is if you want to change what's in your bank account, you've got to first change how you see reality itself.
And really, the entire philosophy of this book, it all comes down to this one single powerful question. It's asking us to look past the cash in our pocket, the numbers on our phone screen, and to really, truly ask ourselves, what even is money?
So according to the book, if you want to build wealth, the very first step is to kinda take apart everything you think you know about money. We have to see right through what it calls the money illusion.
Okay, get this. For every $100 that exists out there in the world, only about 4 of those dollars are actual physical cash and coins. The other 96%? It's just numbers on a computer, data, entries in a digital ledger. The whole global financial system is basically running on a shared belief.
And that brings us to a really crucial point. Money by itself has no real value. It's just a tool, a symbol. Think about it. It's just paper and metal. The book argues that we, you and me, all of us, are the ones who decide something is valuable. Money is just the placeholder we use for that shared agreement.
So, okay, if our collective belief can turn a piece of paper into something powerful enough to run the world, what does that say about the power of your individual belief to shape the world around you? And this is where things get really interesting, because the book takes a sharp turn into the world of quantum physics. I mean, look at everything around you right now. The chair you're sitting in, the screen you're looking at, it all feels pretty solid, right? But what quantum physics tells us is that at the most fundamental, tiniest level, none of it is really solid. It's all just a cloud of possibilities, a field of pure energy and information. And the book's argument is that getting this idea, really wrapping your head around it, is the first step to consciously creating the life you want. And here's where things get, well, pretty mind-bending. It's something called the observer effect. See, at that tiny quantum level, particles don't exist in one specific place. They're more like a wave of pure probability. They are everywhere and nowhere, every possibility at once. It's only when a conscious observer, that's you, looks at it or pays attention to it that this wave of potential collapses into one single real outcome. Your attention literally makes it real. Now, to help people wrap their heads around just how bizarre this idea is, a physicist named Erwin Schrödinger came up with a famous thought experiment. You've probably heard of it. It involves a cat, a box, and a little bit of poison that's triggered by a totally random quantum event. So, the theory goes like this. Until you actually open that box and look inside, the cat isn't either alive or dead. It's in what's called a superposition, which means it exists as both states at the exact same time. It is literally simultaneously alive and dead. It's only your act of observing, of looking, that forces reality to pick a side. Okay, so the book takes this incredibly weird idea and brings it right back to us. The point is this. If your simple act of observation can decide the fate of a cat in a box, what else can it do? What can it do for your life? The argument here is that you're not just some passive bystander in the universe. Your consciousness, your awareness is an active force that is literally helping to create it.
All right, so if we're on board with his idea, even just for a minute, that our consciousness shapes reality, the next big question is, well, how? How do we actually do it? And that's what's next. The book lays out what it calls a creator's toolkit, basically a set of tools you can use to manifest what you want. And it breaks down into 3 main tools. First, you've got imagination. That's for creating the mental blueprint. Then you've got thoughts, which are like the specific commands or the language of creation. But the most powerful one, the one that fuels the other 2, is your state of being. That's the vibe, the energy you're constantly putting out there.
So let's talk about imagination. The book is super clear on this. Your mental pictures are the direct instructions you're giving to reality. But you have to be specific. It's not enough to just say, I want a nice car. No, you have to imagine the exact make, the model, the color. You got to smell the leather seats, feel the steering wheel in your hands. The more vivid the detail, the clearer the command.
Next up, thoughts. Your thoughts, and especially the phrase I am, act like direct commands. So when you say I am wealthy, the book says that's not just wishful thinking, it's a declaration. You're stating a fact that already exists, and you're basically telling that quantum field, hey, organize yourself around this reality right now.
But here's the big one, your state of being. This is the most powerful tool of all. You could think of it like the emotional fuel for the whole process, right? You can have the most perfect mental image, you can say all the right thoughts, but if deep down your core feeling is one of doubt or scarcity or lack, well, that's the real signal you're sending out. That feeling is what the book calls the true first cause of creation.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most profound piece of this whole puzzle. We've talked about the what, the quantum reality, and the how, the creator's toolkit. Now we have to talk about the when. When does all this creation actually happen?
You know, there's this great quote from Albert Einstein that really sums it up. He's talking about relativity, and he makes this really profound point. Our experience of time isn't fixed. It's totally relative. It can stretch out or shrink down depending on what we're focused on and how we're feeling.
And the big takeaway from that is living in the past with regrets or constantly dreaming about the future is a trap. Because according to this philosophy, reality isn't created then. It's only created in the present moment, right now. That is the only place where you have any actual power to change anything.
And, this isn't some brand new idea. Ancient wisdom has been pointing to this for thousands of years, just like this quote from the Buddha shows. The power is always in the present moment. This is where your agency is. This is the workshop where you can actually use those tools of creation we just talked about.
Okay, so let's boil all of that down. What are the big takeaways here? First, money is basically a shared illusion that we all use to represent value. Second, your consciousness, your awareness is actively shaping the quantum reality around you. Third, you have three main tools to do this: your imagination, your thoughts, and your state of being. And finally, number 4, all of this creation, all of your power exists only in the present moment.
And that really just leaves us with one final, and I think really empowering question. The past is just a memory. The future is just an idea in your head. The only thing that's real, the only time you actually have is right now, this present moment. So the question is, what are you going to create with it?